We are live, and we have a few people that are joining us. Thank you so much. All right. Yeah, we have 7 people joining so far, and we appreciate you. So glad to be here with Bobbi Jo Reed and the producers, Brent, and you told me the name again. Donna. Donna is the producer. Brent is the director. Bobbi Jo, Under the Influence. Those of you who are on my Facebook page may have heard me talk about this movie already because it just really blew me away. This is a story of Bobbi Jo's story. It's seems like is an hour and a half, right? Is that
a little longer
running time?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It goes by really quick.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's the story of Bobbi Jo. And we don't want to give everything away here, but I would love for you to be able to share a little bit about your story for people who are watching. And again, if you're watching this Facebook Live, we would love for you to be able to ask questions, and I will relate them to Bobbi Jo and Brent and Donna as we can.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, well, I'm Bobbi Jo. Welcome. Good to see everyone. I started drinking at 12 years old, and I can say the first time I drank, I thought I had arrived. I thought, this is it. I was a young lady trapped in an adult's world. I was working a full-time job and around a lot of older people. And when I drank, it made me feel like I fit in, perhaps for the first time in my life, because I always had self-esteem issues. And I could not wait to drink again. I thought it made me funny. Thought it made me fit in with the older kids. It made me more comfortable inside my own skin. And I chased that for 22 years in my addiction. And my story is not a pretty one, but it's raw and it's real and it's mine. And I ended up in the 22-year addiction. I ended up homeless, in the street, being human trafficked. A lot of horrific things happened to me. And I didn't know the Lord back then. I mean, I wasn't raised. I think when I was a child, we went to Sunday school a few times, but I did not know Christ. I didn't have an intimate relationship with him. And I was lost. I think about the Israelites and how they stumbled around out there all those years. I did a pretty good job. I fell down more than the Israelites, I think. But I was just a lost soul, honestly. And when I finally came to my final place, my dad had passed. I don't want to tell too much, but my dad had passed away, and a month later, I went to a detox, an inner city detox, and that's where my journey started. And I was in detox for 5 days and couldn't hold a coffee cup in my hand. I was very sick. And after I got out, I started helping other people that had the same issues as me. And I started going back to the detox and talking to people. And initially, I started with just taking them a few hygiene products and sharing my story of hope with them. And then it went from there to seeing that there were 900 women in our city going through inpatient treatment every year. And there were less than 30 safe beds for them to go to when they got out of treatment. And the Lord just started tugging on my heart. And I'm telling you what, if you don't ever think you've seen a miracle, you're seeing one today. Right. And what God has done in my life, and it took me about 3.5 years into recovery to really build my relationship with Christ. And, there's some things that happen that are in the movie that will explain more, some tragedies even in recovery that brought me closer to the Lord. And I found Christ. he always knew where I was, but I found him. My mom had just passed. A lot of things had happened. I was sober and clean, but December 31st of 1998, I thought everything had fallen apart again in sobriety. And I cried out to God and I asked him to lead my steps and please not let me go back to where I came from, and just to be with me. And I know this sounds crazy maybe to some people, that your life can't be changed like that, but I'm telling you, our God is able. And when I woke up January 1st, 1999, the Holy Spirit had taken up residence in me, and he started directing my steps in my journey and showing me what to do, what's next. And I'm a faith walker. And so when God doesn't speak to me audibly, but God speaks to my heart and he shows me what's in front of me and what's to be done next. And I always trust that if he tells me to do it, that he's going to make a way to do it. And so now we help, we have 200 people that live here daily and about 34 children. And they all call me mom, and I'm the recovery mom. And I love them. I love them like they're my kids. And it's just an amazing story of not only my redemption, but thousands and thousands of people that have came through here that have come to know Christ and found a different way to live. And then in our community too, that was crime riddled and just in depravity. And the Lord has revitalized our whole community, and we're still working on it. So I'm a very blessed woman. I get to live what God created me to do every day. And so it's not a job, it's my passion, it's my life. I'm a single lady, and I don't think I'll ever find a husband that wants to be daddy to thousands of my kids are kind of ornery. So anyway, so I'm very blessed. And that's kind of, I've been 25 years in my recovery now, and blessed every day. It says we have a daily reprieve contingent on a fit spiritual condition. And so I seek God in all that I do.
Yes. And those doors, that's just one of the things to me that's so amazing about this story is it's not, this story takes place on a backdrop of recovery.
Yes.
But it really is a story of faith. It's a story about doors opening that, you would never imagine opening. So it's not, that's what I think just really hit me about this story is that, when somebody watches it, it's not that they're going to go into recovery ministry, but whatever ministry you're going in, the doors are going to open if you walk in faith, and your story is so inspiring across the board, no matter what people are doing.
Yeah.
Brent, when did you guys get acquainted with Bobbi Joe and say, we gotta put this on film, we gotta document this story?
I saw Bobbi Joe speak at a meeting up the street at the Cornerstone Church, and she was giving her testimony, and it blew my mind. I was just like, this is an incredible testimony. I've heard a lot of testimonies, and her story of recovery was one that just really moved me. Went up to her afterwards and said, I love your story. Can we I was thinking about maybe doing a little documentary about you, or I'd like to make a movie about you, what I said. And she said, well, sure, honey. And then she gave me her book, Beautifully Broken. I read that book. It's an amazing story about her life. So I got more details. And then we went down with the cameras. We went down to Healing House, where, Bobbi Joe forgot to mention Healing House in her story. She invited me down to Healing House, which is, she bought one house, the Pink House, in 2003. Is that right?
No, 2000.
In 2000. So she bought one house for she was going to help 10 women get sober.
Yeah.
And she bought that house, and it filled up with women. And then she bought the house next door to that, and then the house next door to that. And then I don't know what order it goes in, but there was apartment buildings and more houses. And that's where the 200 people live right now at Healing. So she invited us down to Healing House, and I got to really hang out with Bobbi Jo for 3 hours straight, one-on-one. And she's just got this vibrant personality, and she's so full of energy, and it's really full of joy, real joy. And it's, she's so genuine that I was just like, this is amazing. And then I had to make sure that when I saw it on the TV screen in the editing room, that she had that same energy came across, because sometimes it doesn't. Man, it came across. And
Right.
I called my wife down and I said, we got something here. We've got an amazing story about this woman, and it needs to be told. People need to know about Bobbi Jo and how she's helping people recover and get their families back, get their lives back, and do wonderful things in this world.
Right. And the doors, I mean, even on this story, the doors are opening. Your story is, it's a documentary, but it's doors are opening for people to watch it. I know it's being released through Gravitas, right? Is that how you say it? Gravitas? Yeah.
Gravitas.
And in a few weeks, is that right?
Yes, it's wide releases on February the 16th.
Yeah. And it's going, is it going video on demand? Are you doing limited theatrical or anything like that?
No theatrical. We're doing video on demand across a lot of the platforms, including some of the cable on demand platforms as well. So pretty wide base. I bet, wherever you go to watch movies, we'll be there.
Well, and it's God's timing too.
Right.
Everybody's accustomed to that right now.
Yeah.
That's the way to go. And so to me, that's just one more brick in that road, that VOD really is the thing going on right now.
Yeah. I think it's a blessing. We didn't really know. And when we started filming Bobbi Jo and we started assembling this documentary and getting to work, we really didn't have an end game. We really didn't understand, that part of the business and distribution and all of these things. And I think that, just as Bobbi Jo spoke earlier, it's like it just, we just kind of are following along, and it is kind of taking life of its own, and we're very, very blessed.
So the timing is really good, actually. It's people are at home, and it's a story of hope, and people need a lot of hope right now. You gotta stick with this story, because it's rough in the beginning, but it's a redemption story. And by, the thing that people say at the end is, I want to do more to help others. And we just hope that it inspires people to reach out and help their people in their own family and beyond that. If you want to have a good life, you got to start helping people, and helping people whoever needs help, reaching out is what it's about.
Yeah, and there's people in the documentary, lives who were affected by Bobbi Jo's obedience, really, to the Lord, that now are helping other people. You can see that regenerate in the movie, and that's what's appreciative. Even this movie, I feel like you said, Bobbi Jo's personality comes through so much that by the end of this movie, I feel like we're best friends, like I know her,
Right.
And, it shines. She's not a bit shy, talking to the camera or anything like that. But more than that, it just is a story. It's a story of hope, and what one person can do. I'm talking too much. Bobbi, I wanted to ask you a little bit more. This was filmed before the COVID and all that. What has happened during COVID? Did you how did that affect your ministry there when you're reaching out to people, but everybody's, reaching out is not really encouraged right now? So how's that happen?
So one of our places, we have a big recovery community center. And we do something called Alpha, which is Beginners Christianity. And so we would have Bible studies on Monday nights and Friday nights. And I have to tell you, on a Friday night, there would be 250 people in there in recovery, but attending the Bible studies. And so, and we're very family orientated here. I mean, we pray and eat dinner together every night. We have family game nights on the weekends, because you got to remember, a lot of the people have not had a real they haven't been raised in a family of stability, or they don't know what they like to do because their world has been turned over for so long. And so we really try to create that family atmosphere. But I thought, oh no, what's going to happen, everybody, you know? And what happened was quite surprising. Of course, people miss the camaraderie of us all being together. However, what they started telling me is, Mom, I am building the best friendships I've ever had in my life in my house. I'm getting to know the people in my house so well that that I'm really bonding close relationships that I didn't even think were possible, which so instead of being a big family unit, it really turned into a more intimate setting in each house. We have 14 houses now. And so it did that. And then the other thing, here locally, a lot of the shelters closed down. They wouldn't even take anybody. And we have a large homeless population here. I would say predominantly due to addiction, but some is severe mental illness for people that are experiencing homelessness. And that never gets reported properly, because people with addiction problems are scared to say, hey, I'm an addict or I'm alcoholic, because the stigma that comes with that. So people that are homeless will very rarely say I'm an addict or alcoholic. But the need was there, and the shelters and everything closed down. And I'm like, we got to keep helping these people, right? So we had a large influx of people that came in that necessarily didn't want to change totally, but they wanted to get off the streets. And I look at it this way. They might not wanted to change everything about them, but why we had them, we planted seeds. You know, they got to know Jesus while they were here. They got to know a different way of life while they were here. And so that, of course, so we had to quit meeting in big groups, mask. You know what? I came up with some safety policies right at the beginning of that, and how things would work to keep a safe environment. One of the things has been a lot of our people are still engaged in outpatient services or things like that. So now it all has to be Zoom. We have our recovery meetings on Zoom. We have our Bible studies on Zoom now. Our community meeting on Zoom. And I got to tell you, you know, the Lord just gives you the ability to kind of roll with the punches. And okay, we still got to keep serving people. How can we do it? And I think we've done a beautiful job. We've had 1,100 people this year. And and we've only had 24 cases of COVID, which is remarkable. And that's a hedge of protection, let me tell you. And I pray for a hedge of protection all the time around everyone here. And how that has happened is not because we're taking safety precautions, because we have put in place so many precautions, but when people go out to work and then they're getting at their workplaces. And so we've just rolled with the punches the whole time. At one point, we had 5 people that had COVID. So I took an entire house and made it into a COVID house. That way they could stay isolated. Their meals would be delivered to their rooms. You know, the trash would be put in a trash bag before it'd be taken out. All the safety precautions. So we've just been able to adapt to all the needs. We have never stopped serving people, not one day, because God doesn't tell us, okay, this is getting scary, so stop now, right? And the needs of the folks that we serve never stop. This is not going to ever be something I do that I could say, okay, we're good now. this is going to be it's since the beginning, in the one scripture where it says those that get drunk on wine end up with bruises and bumps. And so I can relate. Anyway, and the other thing I wanted to say is you don't have to be a person in recovery to love this story.
Right.
The whole thing about this story is what is possible through God. And I tell you, most of the people that I've talked to that have seen this, and many were not addicts, have said, you know what? I sat there and I watched the movie and I thought, man, I'm not doing nothing in my life. I need to get up and do something.
Yeah.
And, from the time when we were little children, we always were looking for more attention, or a new bicycle or a new car, a wife or husband or whatever. And so we filled our voids in many ways. And we've all looked for more in our life. And I think it's exciting. And I think this documentary comes out at the perfect time when we've all been confined and not able, it seems like there's always something bad going on. This is going to inspire people to want to do more and actually see good in the world. God's doing a lot of good work.
Yes,
and,
yes.
I think it's important that we realize that God is on the move. Even maybe we're not, but God's on the move all the time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Brent and Donna, what I wanted to say is that I appreciate you bringing this story.
Oh, yeah.
We want everybody to see this because it's just so, it's just so inspiring. I want to mention before we finish that any pastor that wants to see it, any leader, we will get you a screener because we want you to share the word with your congregations. And however you want to do that, you can screen it at your church, whatever, because this is a story that it's going to inspire Christians, right? It's going to inspire them to do something, but even people who are not believers, it's going to give them hope, And anything you want to add to that, Brent, Donna?
Probably the iTunes thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, we would be absolutely, it would be a blessing to have more people reach out to us. We want, for anybody who's watching, please help us spread the message. We don't have a Disney budget for advertising and marketing. So really how people can help is just by sharing the information. You can go to our website, which is www.thebobbyjoemovie.com. You can find us at the Bobbi Joe Movie on Facebook and Instagram. Follow the story, share it with your friends. You can watch the trailer there and find out more information about the platforms. We're actually doing a pre-order on iTunes right now, which is such a blessing. And that is kind of an interesting thing, but really what it is if you pre-order for us, it really helps our movie on when it does get released to kind of move a little bit higher up in the stack, so to speak,
right.
Without the big budget. So pre-ordering and encouraging others to pre-order would just be such a blessing.
Well, as somebody and I've said this over the years, I support faith-based messages in film and entertainment. And we've said this before, you vote with your dollars when it comes to entertainment choices. And so many of us complain because it's hopeless. The box office, they're releasing movies that don't have hope or whatever. It's because you're voting for those movies, right? So we have to vote for something. We have to vote for this story. And if you could hogtie people and make them watch it, they will appreciate it by the end of it. But you're not going to do that, right? But it is very important. I think it's definitely one that I'm excited to get behind, and I'm excited to help promote because I think it's life-changing. It affected me. I've been a believer for, since I was a kid, but still it stirs something, it speaks to me just like I'd never heard a story like this before. but that's the power of it. That's the power of what God did in Bobbi Joe's life. And I appreciate it. Anybody else want to add anything? I want to be respectful of time here. I was trying to see if anybody had any questions. I don't think so. I'd love to connect with, somebody said somebody would love to connect with Bobbi Joe. We'll make that happen. One of my Facebook friends. So.
Awesome. Okay.
I just want to say one thing, that there's a lot of movies that try to take you from a dark place and take you on a journey and into the light, so to speak. And I think this is I know this is a real life story that does that, you know. It's a documentary, so it's as real as it gets. And what we tried to do is show that anybody can come out of the darkness and into the light and get a better life. You know, there's a lot of love in this movie. So.
Right. You're all in Kansas City, right?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Okay. My niece lives in Kansas City. I don't know if she's watching, but she would want me to mention that.
Go
She loves
Chiefs.
Kansas City.
Yeah, go Chiefs. That's what we got to say.
Well, thank you so much. And I look forward to more people experiencing this movie. That's one of the things about being somebody who sees things early. I get all excited about it, and then I can't tell people about it. You know, you can't talk it over with people because you don't want to spoil it for them. But this is definitely something that I'll be so happy when people watch it and they react to it the way I reacted to it.
Amen.
Thank you so much. Your family now. Look out. Look
Thank
out.
you. Yeah. All right.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Dwayne. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Okay. Bye-bye.